So the South Asian Yard has given me some prompts to respond and answer to in regards to my lived experience as a second generation Muslim woman. And so I'm really excited to be sharing that. The first theme that I'll be touching on is mental health. And the first question is, what were your experiences with mental health like as a second generation South Asian? And so I think amongst many cultures, even Western culture, European culture, Canadian culture, there is stigma against mental health issues. And so South Asian culture is no stranger to that. And I have personally felt that stigma for mental health. I've heard the stigma, I've seen it. And I feel like that manifests in this notion that you are almost like too proud to have mental health problems and too proud to also reach out for help or to seek therapy. And it's also perpetuated with this notion of being told to snap out of it, that it's a choice, to be grateful, and patience and gratitude is just going to help fix your mental health problems, when that's really truly not the case. Mental health is more nuanced than that. There's a whole range of experience and stigma and experience within mental health. And overall, I really just feel like there's a lack of awareness, and on top of that, judgment and stigma. I feel like that's a good way to summarize it. The second question is, do these norms and expectations affect how you manage your mental health? So I feel like this is a loaded question, because absolutely these norms and expectations have influenced the way I navigate mental health. And it really has been a journey of demystifying and destigmatizing my mental health. And I have navigated my own mental health struggles, as most of us have. And so reaching out for help, going to therapy was really outside my comfort zone of what was considered strong, independent, culturally accepted, or faithful. And so I also feel like South Asian culture in general can put mental health struggles, like if you struggle with mental health, it can put you in a box, and it can seemingly come across as you're being ungrateful or lazy or selfish. And I think a real big problem of where this comes from is that culturally, I see it with my parents or some elders, there's no teaching or advocacy of mental health. There's no manual. I mean, not that there is, but there's no kind of guidance of how to, there's no awareness, yet alone guidance of mental health, or what that is, or what self-care is, or what taking care of yourself is. So when someone presents a case of mental health, whether it's for oneself or it's for someone else, it can be difficult and confusing to navigate that. And so I think that's also where this judgment and this stigma comes from. If there's anything I've learned as a Muslim myself, and this kind of ties in with the Salaam project, is when you don't understand something, it can be daunting, and it perpetuates fear because you don't understand it. And so I feel like that applies to Islamophobia, and this also applies to this mental health conversation that we're having right now, where if you don't understand what someone's going through, if you don't understand what you are going through, which is a mental health, you're going to fear it, and with fear comes stigma and judgment. So that's kind of how I feel about how my South Asian culture has influenced my understanding and experience of mental health and how to manage that. But on the flip side, I also feel like my South Asian culture encourages community and family, and it's more of a collectivist mindset, like the culture. And so that can be helpful when navigating struggles, that you know you can count on your family to support you, that you have a community. But just because you have support doesn't mean the understanding is always going to be there. So you might be subject to cultural stigmas and biases that exist around mental health. So that's pretty much my take on how I experience mental health. And I'm going to answer question 2.